and good day. Hello, hello, hello. How are you doing today?
I'm all right.
Welcome to Warm and Cozy Quilting.
We are in Columbia, Illinois.
I'm Jason.
I'm Danielle.
It's been a good show, so you guys are like, oh.
Sadie's behind the camera. Hello. And today we are going to do the most fun thing you've ever done.
Ever.
Quilt math.
Oh, boy, that's not, no.
We are going to talk about
It's going to be fun,
math.
but I don't know that I'm ready for that.
And a lot of times people are like, math, it's dumb. I don't want to do it. But we do a lot of math in quilting.
So much math.
Frequently, it's done for us.
Usually it's shady lady math, though.
Yeah.
If I return this and I get $15 back, that's $15 I can put towards that $70 purse.
And I got a coupon.
And I got a coupon.
So it's really
I just saved
not
like
even
$80.
anything, really.
Right.
Like I got this for free.
Anyway, so shady lady math and quilting math aren't the same.
No.
But they are in the same wheelhouse.
Right. Because sometimes you go, might need like 3.5 yards. Let's just get 5 yards.
What's wrong with that? Always round up to the nearest fifth yard.
Like, yes.
10, 15, 20s, whatever.
So, anyway, we'll talk about that in a minute.
We'll talk about all that in a minute. How's everybody been this week? Are you guys having a good day out there? It's beautiful weather out there.
Yes.
I did notice Pam just said it's going to be 80 in Alabama today. It's
Wow.
supposed to be 80 here as well. Real close. But it's all supposed to get stormy this afternoon.
Okay, good.
In some spots.
I don't want it to be stormy.
Don't stand outside with a light.
But I don't like it to be 80.
No, we kind of missed the wrong year. That's the wrong time of the year for that.
I feel like it's... We missed this, like, I want to be 50, 60, 70 is the high.
I really think we
50,
had that
60.
for like a week and a half.
Yeah, I know, but I want that for like a season.
Oh, no. Mm-mm.
You know?
No, that's not happening around here. We know better than that.
All right, so we got people saying hi.
We do. Let's say hi to people.
Okay.
So we got Christy. Good morning.
Morning.
We got Pam. Good morning. We got Deborah.
Hello.
Good morning. We got
Morning.
Kathleen. Good morning.
Good morning.
I got real aggressive or weird. I don't know. Pam, Coffee Talk. Yes, ma'am. You are absolutely right. Hello, Pat. Good to see you. Hey-o. Going to be 80 in Texas. Seems like 80 is across the board
80
today.
everywhere. US,
Everybody. You
80.
all 80 degrees. Alaska, 80 degrees.
Whoa.
Ooh, yikes. Good morning, Vicky. Hello, hello. And good morning, Bonnie.
Hello.
Massachusetts. Man. Now, is it cool as in like, this is cool?
Like, that's cool.
Or like,
cool, dude.
temperature-wise, like we're having a temperature talk?
I think it might be a little bit
Probably
like
more of the temperature talk.
Yeah.
It's all right. Unfortunately, we just decreed that it's going to be 80 across the United States. So,
80.
Massachusetts, 80 degrees today.
You get 80.
I really hope not for your sake. I hope it stays nice and cool for you there in the
Right.
New England area. And good morning, Lynn. Hello.
Morning.
Hello. And hello to you. Hi.
Hello.
How are you doing? Good. 60s. Well, I mean, I'd take 60s all day long. I guess we got to move to the East Coast.
Here is fine because it'll be 100 before. Yeah. Alabama, you stay about 100
You keep that.
most of the time, right?
All your humidity.
All that summertime.
Nothing like swimming and walking at the same time.
We do that frequently here. So
it's smothering. All right.
I have cleaned these glasses multiple times today.
With sandpaper?
I guess because
did you get the glare inclusive?
Yeah, maybe they are like including glare instead of anti-glare.
Make sure you bring in all the glare on my glasses.
That's how I feel. Oof. Anyway,
that could be really no real good money making there. Actually, that would be terrible.
Right. Okay.
All right. So if you're watching us on
staring at the
Facebook, that's great. If you're watching on the YouTube, that's great as well. By the way, we have a YouTube channel.
We do.
I found out yesterday that some people can't find our videos when they go to our YouTube channel. Let me explain to why.
It is a little bit different than what you would expect.
So normally you go to our front page of the YouTube channel, you're going to see our videos. Most of those videos were recorded and then posted. The ones that are
uploaded, do you go slower? We record it, then we upload it. Those were those videos.
Those
right?
are the main page of what you see when you first get to Warm and Cozy. So
right.
YouTube.com/Warm and Cozy Quilting.
Right, but for the last year, we've been doing live ones?
No, it's been about maybe 6 months this year or so now. If you notice, there will be a category that says live. Click on live. It's not currently live. Those were just ones that were broadcast live through the YouTube channel, and that's where they are housed at. So if you missed this or you want to rewatch it or show it to a friend, another live category. I added an extra syllable in there. Also,
The
I stayed up
category.
till midnight last night waiting for Victoria to get home from a band thing. And let me just explain to you. I am only 42 years old, but my good Lord, I feel like I might be older because I don't do midnight very well anymore.
No. I didn't do
nope,
midnight.
You didn't. You got to go to bed early.
Oh,
About 10-ish.
He said, "Why don't you go to bed?
There's no reason
you've
for both
already
of us.
been sleeping
She'd been
on the
asleep for like
couch."
an hour. This is normal. But that's all right. It happens. Anyway, back to that YouTube thing. Go subscribe. Go watch us over there.
Right.
Rewatch us over there. Share it with your friends over there.
It's easier to find things like they talked about labels. I don't remember when that was. And then you go over there and you type in labels. And you find it. And you find the video.
You can also turn on, not only subscribing, but you can also turn on the notifications for it. So when we go live on Saturday mornings, you'll just get the little bloop, hey, they're there. And you can watch us or watch it later, which is fine too.
Oh, right. Vicky said when you subscribe, it helps find.
Yeah, it helps a whole lot once you've got to subscribe to us. So much easier to find. All right. So that's that conversation. Let's move on to more announcements before we get into Quilty Math.
Okay.
I am not ready for Quilty Math.
Please don't leave because there's math. It might be fun.
It might be.
Okay.
It will be, actually, because that's all we do is fun around here.
Right.
Couple things to remember. Number one, most important, the Paintbrush 210 Club.
Oh, yeah. Running out of spots. Running out of spots.
We have people signing up. Still happening. It's only $2.10 to sign up. 210.
Yeah.
See what we did there?
See, because we're like cute and funny.
Smart, fun.
Right.
When you sign up, you get a choice. You can pick whether your fat quarters per month, half yards each month, or full yards per month. The price for each is listed on the website as well. If you have more questions, you can always come in and ask us about it. But the general gist is this. We got paintbrush solids. We love paintbrush solids.
We do.
We use them all the time and have for, 2 years now?
Oh, more
at
than
least, if not longer.
More than that.
When you love something and you want your friends to know about them, you share it with them.
Exactly.
So
that's what we're doing.
In order for you to be able to have and enjoy all 210 colors, which if you've ever walked in and you've seen our color wall, you know there's a lot of colors.
Wow.
I've never seen so many colors of blue. It's insane.
Right.
And it's not even all of them.
Right.
Anyway.
It is all of them.
Well, it's all of the paintbrush ones, but like blue's got a lot of colors to it. But to see it tangibly.
Okay.
Anyway. 210 colors. This is a subscription box idea that's going to last for 10 months. It's starting in July. So don't wait to sign up. You have until April 30th to sign up or until all spots are sold.
April 30th, I have to have made.
You've got to have the order in and ready to go so we get prepared for July.
So if you decide in May that you want to do this, it's probably too late. I mean, I don't know.
I'm not promising anything for May. April 30th, as long as I have spots, you're good. Anyway. You're going to get 20 fat quarters if you subscribe to the fat quarters ones each month, plus an extra one. So you're going to get 21 fabrics each month for 10 months.
Right.
They're going to, no repeats in any of them. We just laid them out just yesterday. We finished laying out what the groups are going to be.
We curated them.
We curated. I've never curated so hard in my life. It was fun, I think.
So we got Jill saying that she bought paintbrush solids yesterday, I don't know, from us.
And they are beautiful.
I saw
and the colors are perfect.
And so I thought it said yesterday. Anyway,
they are beautiful and they are great. The hand's amazing. I love them.
They're like a little more plump. Does that make sense?
They just feel like they got a little more body to them.
Substance to it.
They feel great.
A lot of times the solid feels a little bit thin.
Boring. Frayy.
This doesn't fray as much.
Anyway, they do fray, but not as bad.
You can also come in and touch one if you need to.
Totally fine. Anyway.
I'm sorry, I jumped and
it was fun. I enjoyed it. So in addition to the 21 colors each month, you will also get a color card. Yes, I'm going to give you a card that has all 210 colors on it.
So you've gotten this box and it has these first ones and you really need a gray.
And you use all of it.
That's going to go with this for the background fabric. And you look at your color card and then you just order 5 yards of gray.
You got more.
From our website.
Magic. Because we carry them all. So they're beautiful.
Yep.
In addition to that, people that sign up during the time frame of the subscription. So from July until, I think this runs till April of next year.
Whatever 10 months is, I don't remember.
That entire period of time, you get special pricing on paintbrush solids.
$7.50 a yard.
$7.50 a yard. Normally they're $9 a yard. You're getting $1.50 off per yard
every time you buy them. So when
For
you
10 months.
decide that you want that 5 yards of gray to go as your background, you're going to get it for $7.50. You're going to have a special code specific to you so that you can order on the website and get that price.
Yep. You don't even have to come in. We're going to make a thing for online people.
We are going to just do all these wonderful things.
If you're a modern quilter, if you're in a modern quilt guild and you need solids, this is a program that's going to be wonderful for you, especially if you haven't had a chance to play with paintbrush yet.
Have you guys seen the exploding heart pattern? It is so cool.
Yes, I love it.
And you need like 50 something. No,
There's 50 blocks total, I believe, or 500.
Right.
It's a lot.
Anyway, Kelly was going to come in and get one of each of the colors so that each of her triangles could be a different color throughout the entire
I kind of look forward to seeing this because the placement on that is going to be
516.
Good Lord, thanks, Kelly.
So there's 516. So you get 210. So there's going to be some doubles.
Absolutely.
But anyway. So
boy,
cool.
that's going to be awesome. I can't wait to see that one finished. So anyway, 210 Club. Oh, yeah, Sadie linked it in the comments there on the Facebook side. Click that. Oh, and also on the YouTube side. Click that. Go ahead.
So if you told us, I would be interested, you did not sign up. Okay? You have to pay your $2.10.
Right.
Mostly that just keeps... I have better record then, right? You know, because I did have some people who were like, maybe, I don't know, yes. Okay, well...
Yes,
I'm glad that you've made that decision, but now you have to pay $2.10, okay?
Tell us which cuts you want.
Yeah, if you want 1 yard of each of them,
you absolutely could take it and use it for whatever you want at that point. Or if you just like 1 yard cuts of beautiful fabric that you're just going to place all over the wall, you can do that too. I'm not telling you how to live your life.
Right.
All right. Also, we have coming up, this one's going to happen a little sooner, in May. Did you miss the last couple of mini retreats we've done here at the shop?
They're a lot of fun.
They're a good time, and they are limited in seating. Slimmited. I told you. Midnight, not really
making up words
anymore.
Today.
Anyway.
What was the other one that you added extra syllables to?
I don't remember. I'll have to rewatch.
We'll have to rewatch it.
Rewatch, it'll be fun.
Anyway, so if you missed our mini retreats, they are really fun. These are sleep in your own bed retreats because, by the way, we don't have any beds. Okay.
I don't have them. No.
And you can't lay on the floor under your desk.
Sleep in the building overnight. Right. I'm sorry.
No. So, but you do get to be here on Sunday and Monday when we're closed.
Right.
Also Saturday night because we close at 4. You get to stay till 10. So it is going to be the weekend of May 20th, 21st, 22nd. So it doesn't start until 2 p.m. on Saturday, but 2 to 10 Saturday. Sunday is 8 a.m. to 10 p.m.
Wow, that's a long day.
And you can do as little or as
you don't have to stay here the whole time.
Much as you want. If you are a early riser and you want to be here at 8, and you'll probably leave at like 7, that's great. 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. on Monday. So also, we have a sales rep coming in that day. So you might get like
you could actually sneak peek what we do.
Yeah.
For fabric purchasing.
That might be really fun.
Also, we do provide lunch on
Sunday and Monday. You get lunch. So spots are filling up. I also was thinking about, do we need to open up the garage area?
Maybe we'll see. If we've got a lot of people that really want to come hang out with us, this is the time to do it.
Because we had people who were like, as soon as you make the next one, let me know. So,
well, here you go. It's out there. It's in the classes category of the webpage, I believe.
We also have some other classes out there. Go check them out. There's some really cool things coming up.
Yeah. All right. Sounds good. I think that's all the major announcements. I'm really hoping I'm still seeing comments. I have no idea. If I missed anything, is there anybody I haven't addressed? Okay, great. Because frankly, these guys are killing me here. All right. How much? That's a great question, Pat.
Thank you, Pat. It's $100 for the 3 days. Lunch included 2 times. We always give you a goodie bag.
Right.
So I have to come up with new ideas because some of my people who are coming have been here 3 times now. And I'm like, I can't give them another mug. They've all got mugs, so anyway. So it's a lot of fun. And $100 for the 3 days.
There are price breakdowns on that link that Sadie just put out there. You can get, you know, if you just can only make the Saturday or the Sunday or the Monday,
Right.
there are price breaks on each one of those. So, but the collective deal, the best way to go is all 3 days for $100 and get the lunches out of it and all the other things too. So
exactly.
Do that.
Good morning, Patty.
Good morning. All right. Are you ready to do this math thing?
Sure.
Okay. So we haven't had this conversation in a long time. So let's have it. Yesterday we were having a conversation.
Hey, Kelly, do you see what Bonnie said? She said that you should teach a class.
Yay, Kelly! Teaching classes.
She didn't say anything about Kelly, but she said exploding paintbrush art class. That
could be fun. That could be a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Kelly, work that out. Thanks, Kelly. Get back to work too. So yesterday we talked with Janet Colmer. She was in here, and I was like, Janet, what are we going to talk about tomorrow?
Right,
she goes,
He was hitting up everybody and anybody trying to get ideas for what to talk about. You know, we've done this for a while, and sometimes we feel like we've already said that. So they already know.
Right.
Well, you know what? You may watch sometimes and not all the time. You may watch all the time and still go, whenever we talk about a topic, there's always more information that we didn't talk about last time or, you know, so it's still always good to watch, even if you've already seen Quilt Math done before. But yeah, he was talking to Janet. Janet, what could we do? What could we do?
She goes, what about Quilt Math?
Right.
Maybe that's not exactly what she said, but that's what it paraphrased into.
Right. Show them how to do this math.
Then she got on her motorcycle and rode home real cool like. I may have just fabricated that whole story.
Could be.
Coffee. Love it. Anyway.
Is it cold and gross
It's
now or
really
something?
getting close. It's getting close to gross. Anyway, so this was a topic we're going to have. We haven't talked fabric officially, I think, since 2021. So it's due. It's time for us to have this talk again.
Sure.
Also, I would like to remind all of you that are sitting out there watching, even if you haven't said hello and we're not aware who you are watching, if you're new and you have questions, ask the questions.
Please.
I will answer everything as we talk about it live. If you post a question, that's fine. If you want to email us and say, hey, I don't understand this, that's what we do. We quilt all the time. All the time. Like, we don't even really make dinner usually. Usually we're eating fabric. All the time.
We make dinner. I talked with Janet yesterday about how we spend all day together.
Yeah.
And then we go home.
Yeah.
And then we cook together.
We do.
And then we eat together.
Right. It's usually fabric because that's all we do.
No, it's anyway.
It's so much fabric. My intestines are covered with fabric. Anyway, ask the questions. Also, if you have something that you would like to hear discussed, by all means,
please tell us.
Throw us the ideas. Like, even if we've talked about it before, I'll revisit anything at this point. It's fun. Because again, to me, I do it all the time. So sometimes I forget that not everybody knows.
Right, okay. right. I have this thing in my head that I think that I'm last to know things.
Right.
I think everyone else already knows that. You just figured it out. And it took you all this time. So, and guess what I found out?
What?
That's not true. Sometimes other people don't know.
Sometimes you don't know, and that's okay. It's okay to not know.
Yeah.
And apparently we talked about making spaghetti. So
yeah, I did.
Spaghetti's a real thing in our house. It's a big, big fun thing.
Whenever we make anything, you do the whatever, and I do the whatever, and we just do, and
right.
Yeah, that's what I talked about.
All right. So you're going to go buy fabric.
Right.
Okay, there's really two scenarios we're talking about here. You got your first scenario that we're going to talk about is you go into a shop, you have no real plans, no real idea of what you want to do.
But you go in there to get some inspiration.
Be amazed by things.
To see what's new.
And you just see a couple fabrics that are just like, take me home. And you say, okay, fine.
Okay, I guess I will.
But how much? How much of that do you take home? Well, before you go into the store, what I do encourage you is to have a couple tools with you ahead of time. Number one, I encourage you to have a color wheel. This is more of a colored card thing, but look at all these colors.
This is our favorite color wheel.
This is my favorite color wheel because it also has these filters on them. To kind of
would help you with value and
values, your hues, all that stuff. But if you find a color and you're like, oh, I need something that goes with that, there's a breakdown of how that works on the back of each card.
Right.
This is the best thing I've ever seen in my life.
Colors and then you can see all the different shades of that color.
Right.
So you can say,
value.
Okay, does this match with this one? It's lighter, but it seems like it's the same, but I'm not sure.
I don't know. But
yeah, you can Look in there.
Do that. Have one of those.
That's awesome.
Look, those of you that still carry purses, I know you've got room for this to hide in the bag.
There is stuff in there that I don't need.
I know that she has more than enough room for one of these, and her bag actually weighs more than our dog. Like,
No,
she's
it
carrying around an
doesn't.
80-pound bag. It doesn't look
Jason-
like it.
Jason.
There is a legitimate kitchen sink in her bag.
No, there isn't. Might be.
Anyway, put one of those in there. Keep that
Right.
with you.
Right.
Okay? First thing, that's your first tool. Your second tool that you want to have, this guy right here, the No Math Quilt Charts and Formulas. Okay?
Very, very,
I know, we're
very
talking
handy.
about quilt math today, and this says there's no math. Well, it's because they put all the math in here for you. So you just...
Easy to use.
It's easy to use.
Reducing
Right?
and or enlarging blocks.
Right.
So you've got, I don't know, an international mystery quilt.
Mm-hmm.
And you want to make those blocks bigger. Because you don't want to cut those little tiny pieces. You want to make them bigger. How do I do that?
I don't know. I use the book.
Number of block units from yardage.
Ooh.
Borders, backing, and binding formulas. And more.
There really is a ton of information in this little book. It absolutely is worth doing.
And when you use this, I was flipping through this morning, right before we went on. And the best thing to me, because a lot of those things I'm like, yeah, I could do that. Yeah, I could do that. Yes. First of all, it's nice that I have a chart and I don't have to go
Right. No.
do the math. Right.
Counting on fingers.
Right. But it has, this is the one that I have never been able to get.
What's that?
Setting triangles.
Oh, is there a math in there for it?
Yes.
Oh,
So
amazing.
So for the side setting triangles and for your corner setting triangles, it tells you what you need.
Okay.
Anyway.
Cool. So you have these two books or these two things with you. The reason I show you these in hand is because, yes, you can probably get both of these in a digital format, but some of us don't much care for the technology because it's not near as fast as me going, I need this much.
Right.
So it's nice to have it in print still. Treats still exist. We still use books and papers, so make use of them.
You join the 210 club, you take your color card with you.
Take your color card with you.
Okay.
That'd be fine.
Also, another thing you could do is take your phone.
You can take your phone. There is an app that you need in your life.
You need this app.
If you don't have this app on your phone, put it on your phone.
Okay,
please.
Stop stop right now. Get your phone.
They're on
Get
their
your
phone. What? No, stop.
Oh, wait. Don't click out of here. Just write it down or something. Anyway, the quilting calculator.
Robert Kaufman quilting calculator.
You go into your app store and you go
search,
and you go.
Even if you don't do this process, you can just go to your web browser on your phone and type Robert Kaufman calculator, and it'll take you to their website, which will take you to a link to your proper phone's, digital store.
So I typed in quilting calculator, and because that is the name of the, it is the Robert Kaufman one. But sometimes, first of all, how do you spell Kaufman? Blah blah blah.
Right.
So anyway, I can spell quilting and I can spell calculator. So I typed that in, and there's a couple of them out there. I have used the Robert Kaufman one over. All the time.
There's a lot of options in there. It helps you kind of figure stuff out.
So then you go. Let me just tell you though.
Okay,
I found this thing in this app last night. So a lot of times people will use it for figuring out how much binding they need, figuring out how much backing they need. But there's one section called piece count. You have pieces that are. It asks for the width. I need a 2-inch by a 5-inch rectangle.
Yeah.
I have a fat quarter. Okay. So my fat quarter, so it says size of the fabric to be cut from in inches. I'm sure you can change both of these to metric. Just click there.
Right there.
So I have a fat quarter.
Canadian,
a fat quarter is 18 by 20-ish.
20.
So
Just say 20.
I'll say 20. And then I'm going to calculate. And it told me that if I cut it one direction, I'm going to get 36
oh my good
out
Lord.
of there. And if I cut the other direction, I'm going to get 30. So then, and it's got a little chart of how to cut from that piece of fabric.
That's incredible.
Just get the calculator.
Just do it, guys. Anyway.
Okay.
Again, if you don't have the books and you're okay with using the technology, I strongly encourage the app. Please do it.
Yeah.
Also, you
I
can
get
take
paid
graph
nothing for
paper
this
with you.
app.
I don't get anything from it, but it's free. So you don't have to pay for it,
Right.
which is even better.
Exactly.
You can take graph paper along, but usually your graph paper is something you use at home as you plan your project.
Right.
Not so much the scenario we're currently talking about.
Right.
So you're going to visit your favorite shop, or you're out and about and you're in visiting family and there's a quilt shop you can go visit. You go in and you find some great fabric.
Yeah.
What do you buy?
Mm-hmm.
How much do you buy? Mm-hmm. All of it.
Right.
We round up to the nearest 5 yard. 10, 15, 20.
Right.
No, that's not really true. I believe this was a rule that we've been using for quite a long time.
Mm-hmm.
The 3-2-1 rule.
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of made it up myself, but it kind of coincides with her opinions as well. So
also, though, I have found that lately there are more and more modern quilts that I'm liking and that I'm wanting to do that use a lot of negative space.
Right.
So you need more background than you've needed before.
Correct.
So the rest of the fabric you only need little chunks of, but your background fabric. So if you find a really cool tone on tone that's got just a little dot in it that you just think, oh man, this is going to work sometime, I would throw out the 3-2-1 rule and I would get at least 4.
Right. Absolutely.
Get at least 4, because if you're going to use that for a background, you may need 4 yards if you're going to do a modern style quilt. There's even one that I used or that I made about 2 years ago that I needed 5 yards of background fabric. And I went, really? That's a lot of fabric.
It's a lot of background fabric.
But let's talk about why.
So the 3-2-1 rule really, in my opinion, applies more to print lines, your novelty lines, things like that. Not so much blenders, because let's be honest, there have been some blenders that have been discontinued by their respective companies.
Right.
But generally, your blenders can be replenished. You can get more of it. You can order it. You can find it somewhere else pretty easily.
They're going to reprint a grunge. They're going to reprint, and you could find that color another time.
But things like coffee fabric or moonlit garden eventually is going to go away, and I'm not going to have it anymore.
Yeah.
So if you saw something that you absolutely have to have in your life, this is where that 3-2-1 kind of comes into play. Okay. So 3 yards is a safe number for having plenty, because you don't really know what you're going to do with it.
Right. But you love it.
Find out what you're going to do with it. It's way better to have more than not enough.
Right.
Okay. Again, grunt lines that are going to be limited, you're not going to get them back. That's where you want to use this. Large prints. 3 yards for a large print is not unreasonable.
No.
Why is that?
More than likely, you're going to use it on a border. Right?
Right.
So if you want that large scale print to be on your border and you want some for your blocks, for your border, you could need 2.5 yards.
Right.
So, so that leaves me a half a yard to use within the quilt.
Right.
And I want to put those in those big blocks. Now I don't have enough.
And if you want to put it in your binding as well, because you got it as an outside border.
And you just want it to continue. Sure.
So 3 yards as a minimum for a large print is probably the safest thing to say at this point.
Yeah, it's an at least kind of situation.
And we're just talking quilt top, not even backing.
So if you think, are we going to talk about like a quilt top?
Yeah, that's these guys down here somewhere.
Okay.
We'll get to that.
I'm going to talk about it now. So even if you just think about the thing is with let's say you're making a queen size quilt and it's 90 by 108. Then I'm going to need, do I have a 90 by 108 situation?
I put 90. It's going to be about the same here.
Okay. So you're going to need 2.5 yards makes 90. And you're going to need that 3 times. So that's 5. That's 7.5 yards. That's no seams. You've not pieced anything. So that's total yardage. Okay, so that's all the background, that's all the little pieces, but that doesn't take into account any seam allowance. So sometimes people say to me, oh, well, 3 yards, that sounds like a lot. Well, if you're making a queen size quilt, that's not even half of what you need.
Right.
You are going to need at least 7.5 yards. That is like bare minimum.
Yeah.
So, let's work backwards, right? So a small throw. So 45 by 60, you're going to need roughly 3 yards. It's like there's a lot of 3-yard books, right?
You've seen the 3-yard books.
Most of those books, you need 3 yards of fabric, and the quilts are they are lap size. They are actually small lap. This is like big baby.
Did she just call me a big baby?
That doesn't sound right.
That was messed up.
Larger than crib size, right?
Yes.
But not really a good size lap for a 6 foot.
I am not going to be good with a 3-yard quilt.
Right.
I'm going to be kind of left out and exposed.
And if you need 3 yards for the front, you're going to need 3 yards for the back.
Correct.
All these kind of things. So a larger throw, like a 60 by 80. Quilts of Valor, they recommend 60 by 80 because we're generally giving these to guys, and we want something that is going to be equal to the last person who got it. So most 5-yard patterns end up being roughly 60 by 80. A lot of times they're 54 by 78. But
again, close generalized numbers. We're not specifics.
So that's going to mean you're going to need 5 yards for the front and 5 yards for the back. So you find a beautiful print, you love it, you love that large scale print, you might want to just go ahead and get 3 yards. Or if you are going, I know that I'm going to use this in a 5-yard quilt, so I'm only going to need 1 of this, and but I need 4 other fabrics to go with it.
Right.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Sounds good to me.
All right. So that's rough yardage. Again, we're saying that in total, to make this quilt, this queen size quilt, you're going to need anywhere from 7.5 to 8 yards at least. So your total fabric you're purchasing should be close to that 8 amount. Right?
At the very least.
At the very least. And always more is better, because if you run out and that store doesn't have any more, or you can't find it anymore, now you have to modify and change up. And
if you have to go to Etsy to try to find some fabric, you are and you're like, oh, well, this is pretty cheap. This is only $10
for a half yard.
For a half yard. Or for a fat quarter. Like sometimes you got to really pay attention on Etsy to make sure that you're getting you think it's $10 a yard.
You have to remember that the people that are selling on those sites, on Etsy in particular,
don't have fractions.
They're that, but they're also speculating. They're selling. They're just salespeople. They don't really have a personal attachment to this fabric.
Right.
And say, for instance, Tula Pink's fabric. People know that that's a collector type fabric. I have it. It's a line that you can't find anymore. I'll sell it in fat quarter fashion for $8 a fat quarter. Oh, good Lord.
No.
Maybe more, way more, depending on the particular print and time frame.
Yep.
Point of the matter is, if you need a print and you see it now, you get it while you can. Don't get put in that buying situation where you have to buy way more for way more than you need.
Okay, so back to your 3, 2, 1.
Back to my 3, 2, 1.
Sorry,
that's okay. It was fun. It was fun. 2 yards. 2 yards if you're not really sure what pattern you're going to use, and if it's something that, it's going to be more of a blender. You like it, but it's not the razzle-dazzle you need it to be.
Okay, if I see something and I'm like, that is going to have to go on my bed. My bed is king size.
No.
I better not get 2 yards of the large scale border print that or what I think is going to go on the border. I'm going to be upset. I look at that fabric and I go, oh, I could use that to make a quilt for my sister. And she's probably going to just use it on the couch.
Right.
So I don't need as much. I'm probably going to do a 5-yard quilt. So really I only need 1. I'm going to get 2. I'm going to get 2 because what if I want to put, make something, and I don't want to be short.
I don't like to be short. That was a high joke.
I like being short, so whatever.
It happens. 1 yard, so the 1 in the 3, 2, 1 would be like your coordinating fabrics. So like you find something, you love it, you need it, you're going to use it. I need something to go with it. Blendery stuff, things of the nature. 1 yards are great cuts for that. Not so dire important to the conversation.
Right. It's kind of that gold color that you wouldn't really use often.
Right. But it's going to be a great accent in the quilt.
Yeah.
But you're not going to need 85 yards of it.
Right.
Sure.
Okay, so then there's pre-cuts, right?
Right. So if you decided you don't want to deal with yardage and you can get pre-cuts to work for you,
frequently you want more that you found that border print, or you found something that you really like. What else can I get to go with it? You like that whole line, but now I'm going to have to wait for them to cut a bunch of stuff. Oh, look, they have a fat quarter bundle.
Ooh, fancy.
How much fabric is in this? Is this going to be enough for me to make my quilt?
Correct. And that just depends on the number of fat quarters, obviously. So if you have something like a quart of quarters, which I so conveniently have right here, this has 10 fat quarters in it.
Right.
This is equivalent to 2.5 yards of fabric.
Right.
This gives you a nice variety of color, so this gives you something to work with.
Right.
Again, being solids, not that big of a deal. I've seen fat quarter bundles that they range from anywhere 16 to 20 fat quarters based on how many fabrics are in the line.
If you get a Lori Holt fat quarter bundle,
she's like got 80 of them.
48 in the, yeah.
Right, it's wild. It's absolutely wild.
So it's enough fabric to do what you want with.
That's going to be, if it's 48, that's 12 yards of fabric.
You could make a big quilt.
You can make a big old quilt with that. And scrappy it, Lord. Okay. If you do something that's going to be equivalent to our cozy cuts.
Right.
Let's talk about cozy cuts, shall we?
Let's do it.
Infomercial time. No, I'm kidding. So these are the newest cut situation that we're using. These are your 12, 11 inch by width of fabrics.
Right.
Which gets you the equivalent of, if you're doing 10 inch squares, 48, 10 inch squares. They're preppable, which means that you can starch them.
Correct.
And you can cut them and be sure that they're 10 inches wide. You can do 4 2.5 inch strips of each of them, which is fantastic. Have you ever been able to strip or starch a jelly roll and use it?
No. They've got this pinking sheared edge.
It may be 2.5-ish.
It might be 2.5-ish.
Anyway, so
you can get 4 2.5 inch strips.
I know.
Out of each one.
I know.
It's 48.
48 strips.
2.5 inch strips.
That's more than a normal roll.
Right.
How great is that? So you see this lovely collection of fabric in a cozy cut collection. That's going to be about 3 2/3 yards. Let's say 3.5 for the sake of numbers. You got a 2.5 yards worth of solids in a fat quarter bundle. That's 7 yards. Tell me my math is right. Somebody? I know I put it on here. 6 yards.
2.5. Oh, okay, yeah.
We're gonna say 6 yards. That's 6 yards of fabric right here. That's a really good throw. That's a perfect gift. You don't have to coordinate with colors. They're all gonna work together. If you don't like the pink, you could go with another color.
Oh, let's see here. What do we got?
Ooh, red. Look at that.
Because that goes with it.
And or I put them as far away from you as I possibly could.
Or there's blues. So there's blue in this quilt and these fabrics.
That is pretty. I like that.
You can, if you wanted to accent the blue, if you wanted to accent with the red, if you want to accent with the pink. So you find yourself a cozy cut, you get yourself a quart of quarters, and you are off to the races.
Running. Off and running.
Right.
Don't run with scissors, though, because that is dangerous. So pre-cuts are a great way to really just cover a whole line, get a bunch of fabric. You can absolutely work with that.
I saw, again,
no math.
On it's young millennial quilters. Where someone was so upset because she's new to quilting and she was working through this project. She had bought all these charm packs that were 5 inches, and she's putting these things together and they're not fitting. What am I doing wrong? Like, is my quarter inch wrong? I didn't even cut these. I just had to put them together and they're not the right size.
Right.
And then she said, then I had 2 squares that I didn't use that were left, and I measured them and they weren't even 5 inches.
That's tough.
It was 4 3/4 by 4 1/2.
I would like to point out that this also, just to do the math for you, if you decide you need 5 inch squares and you start with this lovely work of fabric, which is a full 11 inches, that will get you out of this entire package here 192 5 inch squares.
Also, you have a stripology ruler. Do you know how fast you can cut those?
Quick and easy.
So quick.
Anyway, all right. And they'd be starched if you like to starch. And you wouldn't have to fight with
them. Sounds like the best day of my life.
I mean, it's really quite fantastic.
Yes.
All right.
We're going to run out of time here.
Are we? Oh, my good Lord. No, we're not. We're getting close. So, those are your scenario ones. You walk in the quilt shop. How much do I get of this fabric? I don't really know what I'm going to do with it. 3, 2, 1. Or if you know that you're going to maybe have something modern-y, 4 or more is always a safe bet. But also, a safe number.
So I feel sometimes we then rely on the help at the shop. And you have to give me more information than, I really like these. How much should I get? Because I'll tell you, 6.
My number's 5, so she obviously is pushing more fabric than I am.
But, what are you going to use it for? We're going to ask you more questions and see if we can help you in some way. But what pattern are you going to use? I don't know. What I need more information to be able to help sometimes.
Yes. Oh, how do we find them on the website? I don't know that I have them marked to be on the website right now, Vicki.
Cozy Cuts are not online. They're in-store only.
They're in-store only.
So we're going to work on that.
We'll get a good answer for you on that one.
And we're going to get them online.
See that ball that I dropped over there?
Somehow.
I'll get that. I promise. Well, anyway.
We have so many friends out here who watch us from far away. Even the ones who are, okay, Vicki doesn't live down the street.
No, she doesn't.
So,
she should. Just move to Columbia. It's a beautiful town. Just come on down.
An option,
I don't think it is, but.
Not everyone has to live in this town.
No, anyway. I don't even live in this town. Right. So I just work here. My nose, why?
We need to get more.
Yeah, we'll get that. Okay. Good question, though. Thank you, Vicki.
Yes, thanks, Vicki.
All right. So we talked about your general rule of thumb. Your second scenario, you've got a pattern in mind. However, this pattern you have says that it's for a baby quilt. I like the design, but I am not going to fit under a baby quilt. How can I make this work for me?
Right.
How do I do that?
I want this to be lap size, or this is beautiful. This is the design I've been looking for forever, and I want it to go on my queen size bed.
Right.
But it is written for, anyway, but we want to go from, instead of it being, what did I write down here? 20 blocks.
So for instance, let's look at this month's mystery quilt, generally speaking.
Right.
So if we were only going to have 4 by 5 blocks to make this quilt,
right,
that's 20 blocks.
Correct.
All right.
But I don't like that size. I want to make it bigger.
I need it bigger.
So
How do I do that?
I want to go 6 by 8 at least, right? So I think 6 by 8, and then maybe I'll put a border on it. But let's get at least 6 by 8. How much fabric am I going to need?
Right. How do I do this math? Do I need the whiteboard?
Yes.
Okay, let me get the whiteboard. You got the whiteboard. Here, let me hold that for you.
Okay.
Okay.
So a couple of things to think about. First of all of those tulips were in many, many different colors. So I'm not worried so much about that because I'm going to make that scrappy. Or I'm going to get a quarters and I'm going to do that part, those out of, so that they could be more than one color.
Right.
But that yellow and that white, that background fabric, I need to know how much to get.
Right. You need a perfect quantity for that.
Right.
Or good quantity, I should say.
So let's just do the yellow.
Okay.
Yellow. And I wrote down some stuff here. So I'm going to go 6 by 8. So I need 48 of those yellow squares.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
Now, I'm not using information from the pattern. I'm giving you different information.
Completely
so if you think, oh, you're getting the pattern.
You didn't get
no,
nothing.
you didn't get nothing. So I need these. I want these to be 2.5 inch squares.
Okay.
How much fabric do I need? Okay, if you ask me
2 inches of fabric.
If you ask me this information, I can help you. We've got enough information from this. Oh, I went to get my calculator at one point, but I can just do it on my phone calculator.
Okay.
I'm going to get out my regular standard old calculator here.
Okay. Push button numbers. Here we go.
Now, we know that when you buy fabric at the fabric store, it's in yardage, right? And it's going to be width of fabric, right? So it's going to be that whole long piece. So that is, and let me tell you, most fabrics will say that they're 42 to 44 inch wide fabric. I don't believe them. Also, I do believe them, but it's way easier to do math when you assume that it is only 40 inches. Because dividing by 42 versus dividing by 40, you see how that's easier?
40 is a nice round number.
Nice round number. Also, it gives me a little wiggle room, right? So I need 48 squares. Yeah. They need to be this size. But how many 2.5 inch squares can I get out of one 2.5 inch cut?
85.
Let's find out.
That's wrong.
So we have 40 inches, which is the width of fabric. So width of fabric equals 40 inches.
Okay.
I'm going to divide that by 2.5.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. So 40 divided by 2.5 equals Oh, it's a nice round number. If it's not round, round up.
Always
Okay.
round up.
If this said 16.2, oh, I'm sorry. Actually, in this instance, you're going to want to round down because you can't get part of a cut,
Oh.
part of a square out of it, right?
Right.
So if this said
Smart.
16.2 or 16.8, I can't get 17. I cannot get another whole block out of there. I can only get 16 blocks.
Even if you can, just assume you can't.
Assume you can.
Just in case your salvages are a little bit fatter than we think they are.
Right. So I can get 16 out of one 2.5 inch cut. Okay, that doesn't get me to 48.
It doesn't?
No.
Oh, that's definitely
So
not the same number.
So I'm going to need more cuts, right? So I need a total of 48. Total of 48 squares.
Yeah.
I can get 16. So I'm going to divide 48 divided by the number that I can get here and see what that comes out to.
Is it 22?
48 divided by 16. So
It is not 22.
I came out to how did we pick exactly even numbers? I don't know.
Lucky.
Because generally
We're fancy like
you're
that.
having to do some rounding, but
Some shady lady math.
so we need 3 cuts. 3 cuts.
My bad.
So that equals 3 cuts. So I need 3 cuts off of my width of fabric, right? 1, 2, 3. 3 cuts at 2.5 inches. And that's going to get me my whole 48 blocks, right?
Right.
So if I need 3 cuts at 2.5 inches, that means I'm going to need 3 times 2.5. And that is 7.5 inches of fabric off of the bolt.
I love it.
Okay.
I feel like I learned something.
Well, so in this case, I would say, okay, so I'm going to round up. You can't, a lot of places are not selling you 7.5 inches. Also, if you want to starch it or if you need to straighten something up because they didn't cut very well or anything like that, you're going to go to a 1/4 yard. You're going to go to the next whatever increment.
Right.
So in this case, a 1/4 yard should get you because a 1/4 yard is 9 inches.
Right.
And that should get it. But what that doesn't get you is, since this was exactly 3 and this was exactly 16, I have no wiggle room at all.
None.
I would prefer to have one more cut.
Just in case.
And 7.5 and another 2.5 is going to be 10 inches. So that's more than the 9,
so
right?
That 1/4 yard's not going to cut
that
it.
1/4 yard might be short. I do not want to get 2 states away 3 months later and then go, well, I need one more daggum 2.5 inch.
Daggum.
And I don't have it. Now I got to throw the whole thing out the window.
Whole thing out the window.
So,
leave it to the birds.
In this case, I want to account for getting one more cut. So now I'm going to go, I want to oops factor. So I'm going to say 4 cuts at 2.5 inches, which is 4 times 2.5. If you want me to change it to decimals, because putting this into your calculator is hard. 4 times 2.5 is 10 inches.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm going to go to the next increment that they are willing to cut at this particular shop, and they'll do thirds. Great. I'm going to get 1/3 of a yard because that's 12 inches, and that gets me my 10, and I'm happy. Who's with me?
I followed every bit of that. Really, literally, like I watched the screen the whole time. But... So it's not difficult. It really isn't. If you break it down, you really just kind of.
You have to think through all of these things. Like, and I know that the worst, when I was in school, the worst thing for me was these dang word problems. And this is exactly what we're doing, is a big, giant word problem.
These
we're like,
kids today, they don't even know words. No.
They do know words. Okay.
Did you need this, Mel?
I don't know, maybe.
I'm putting it down here because I can't see myself.
All right.
I feel disconnected.
You would then, okay, let's talk about that background fabric. So if we could look at that picture one more time, Sadie.
There it is.
that background fabric is cut into like a half square triangle probably, and there's another little square, and there's another thing on this end, and I don't exactly know how I'm supposed to. So it looks like a snowballed corner on one side. I'm going to have to figure out for each of those pieces, or I'm just going to do some rounding math. Because if I'm using a white, cream, gray background fabric, okay, if it's me, I'm using light green. Guess what? I'll use light green another time, right?
All the time.
So I would prefer to do a quick estimate, so let's do it. So let's say the pattern says you need 1 3/4.
Right.
For instance.
Let's say that.
To make this many blocks.
Okay. So 1.75 is 1 3/4.
Right. And I am more than doubling because I went from 20 blocks to 48, not just 40. I went to 48 blocks. So I need a little bit more than double. So if I take 1 3/4 times 2, that gives me 3.5 yards.
Yeah.
I only need that additional 8 blocks more, because the 20 to 40 blocks, I need 48. So in my opinion, what I'm going to do is just round that up to 4 yards instead of 3.5. That gives me an entire half a yard more. Those pieces that I'm using are not very big, so I should be more than fine with 4 yards of fabric.
You should. Now, in the event that you're a real planner and concerned with everything being wrong, I would say go another yard entirely. So if it's 4.5,
from the
4.5.
Yeah, from the 3.5
that gives
to 4.5.
you the cushion to know that you're not going to be mid-run and realize I just cut this last piece. That should be 4 inches of fabric sitting there, and I've got 2. Oops.
Also, remember, it's white, cream, gray,
You're going to
lime,
use it somewhere else.
You're going to use it again. So having an extra half a yard, if we estimated for, like I did and got 4, or if we got 4.5, if I had that extra half a yard, it's totally fine. It can sit with for my next project.
Somewhere.
No big deal. So does that help? Is anyone
give me some feedback.
Is anyone there?
I think they're all there. They're all taking it in. It's a lot to take in.
It is.
Math can be its own challenge sometimes.
Right.
You're not alone. You're doing fine.
Right. And I am here to help you. I do know how to do this. It is not difficult for me, so I am willing to help you.
Right.
Okay.
So the last thing
sometimes I am not willing in the middle of the night. When you have decided that you want to figure this out and you're messaging us, I may not get back to you. Right? If someone asks me in the middle of the night,
right.
I probably won't.
No, you're not going to answer. I can assure you should be asleep.
Yeah.
So this is why Pam doesn't
it
mind buying 10 yards if she likes it. Again, if you are comfortable with buying a big number to have it on hand, do it. You are not going to be disappointed that you have that extra when it's time.
When we order fabric from Paintbrush next time, I need a whole bolt of Limelight because that I use as a background frequently.
You need your own, yeah.
I need a whole bolt.
So we were talking about borders, and when it comes to borders on your quilts, if you're not doing borders, say some people don't like borders, like this guy behind me does not have borders.
Lots of
very modern style.
Modern quilts don't have a border. Okay.
Actually, neither of them behind us have borders. How fantastic is that?
I was looking around the store the other day and I went, that one, that one, that one.
You got a lot.
I guess I am a modern quilter.
You are trying to lean away from traditional, I guess. Anyway, so let's say that you need to put borders on your quilt. You found this large print that you really want to be that border, and we did talk about this a little bit ago. If you know what general size your finished quilt's going to be, say you're going to do a king size quilt, you get yourself 3 yards because then you cut that length of fabric.
Right, cut it length of fabric instead of width. That way you don't have to piece all those together. So you cut the whole length, and if you have 3 yards, that's going to be 108 inches long. That's going to cover your king size quilts all day, every day. Now, you're not going to cut it down to size until your quilt's done, obviously. If you are using, let's say, let's see if they can follow me on this. All right. I love this print. It's going to be the borders.
With you.
I'm going to make that border 6.5 inches. I'm going to need 4 6.5-inch pieces. I don't know how long, like what the width of it's going to be or how long it's going to be. But I know that it's not going to be more than 108.
Not going to be more than 108.
So, but I also want to use some of that fabric in these blocks, and I need a little bit of pieces here and there and here and there. Here's what I do. Cut your borders first. Okay? Not that you're going to cut them to exact size because you don't have exact size. You haven't pieced anything else together yet, right?
Right.
But you're going to cut them length of fabric, and I've got 2 and I've got 4, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because I've got it still folded like it's on the bolt, you know.
Yeah.
I've got 2 and I've got 4.
Mm-hmm.
And I've cut them 6.5 and 6.5.
Mm-hmm.
So how much do I have left now?
Well, you've taken 13 inches off of the 20 inches, which leaves you 7
inches,
so 14.
So 14 inches by the entire 3 yards.
By 108.
Right.
That's a lot of fabric to work with still.
So I've got those, and I put them to the side, and now I've got this big piece of fabric that it's big, but it's not big, right? So it's 14 inch, you know. And
It's a little skinnier, but at the same time, at 108, you have ample to put pieced into the quilt.
Right.
You have ample, if you wanted to bind with that,
right.
I mean, you're going to be fine. You should be able to use that for binding. Again, always, if you need to estimate, if you're going to bind with it and or this, always do the extra just to make sure you've got ample for that.
Right. So there are a lot of traditional quilts that have big borders on them.
Yes.
Let me tell you, you can get a 10-inch border out of a 3-yard piece, right?
You can.
So you cut, because it's 40 inches is your width of fabric, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you get 10, 20, 30, 40.
Yep.
So you can get a 10-inch border. That's fat.
That's fat.
But then there's nothing left over for anything else.
Right, you can't really work
So
your quilt.
then you would also need to buy the half a yard or whatever that you were going to use to piece in, or a yard that you're going to use to piece in. But you can, from a 3-yard piece, you can cut out your borders first. By the way, then you don't have to piece them. That is awesome. I hate when I have to piece, especially for a really big quilt and I need 3 pieces.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's got, and if it is a floral print, and now I cut half of that dang floral off, and if it like this had some butterflies and stuff, and I cut the butterfly's head off, and you know, none of that looks that great, and it's way better if I can get it in one go.
Right. Okay. Super. I think that's really the gist of all of it. Last but not least, and we only got a couple minutes left before we run out of time here, backings. As we talked about, if you're going to use a 45, know that if you're doing 3 yards worth of fabric for your top, you're going to need 3 yards worth of fabric for your backing. That plays through all of them. If you use 12 yards for a king size, you're going to need 12 yards for your back. That's a good rough estimate idea of where to be.
It's rough estimate. You really should get
overdo it every time.
You need to get because this has for backing, what's the quilt top length? What's the extra that I need to send to my long armor? Divide that by 36. That gets me yards times 2. Anyway, so it has a great formula in here so that you can get the exact correct amount.
And if you don't know what you need for a backing, there's always 108s. And if you see a 108 that you're like, oh my gosh, that's the coolest 108 I've ever seen in my life, but I don't know what I'll ever use it for, my recommendation, 3 yards.
Do we have this? Is probably on our website.
That's most likely on our website.
So this you could definitely buy from us, from our website. You can message us. You could type here that you need one of these books, and we'll get that to you, because it is
really the best
a great resource. It even tells you things. Yeah, it's just got lots of information in there.
And again, people commenting that they have never been disappointed when buying more fabric than they actually need, because believe me, you don't want to run out mid-project and realize I can't finish with that exact fabric.
That has always been the way I live my life, is I buy too much fabric, until approximately a year and a half ago. And now I'm going, I really need to do that math and not overspend, because I still have to feed my children and buy shoes and things like that, right? Sometimes. So I'm trying to do a little bit better at when I needed 3 yards, not getting 7. Because now, when I get 7, I can sure make a whole other quilt. right? But
Why do you need the other quilt? You
right.
don't need the other
Or
quilt.
when I need 3 and I get 4.5, and that 1.5 yards really doesn't do me much good. So now I'm just kind of, this is in my stash, and now, and I'm not a scrappy quilter, so that makes it hard. Anyway, so I've been doing better math so that I get closer to the correct amount. But just as I was showing you, if I needed 7.5 inches, I'm getting 1/3 of a yard.
Yes.
That is not that much overage to where I would be so upset that I had this piece left over.
Yeah, just a 2, 3, 4 inches more generally is not going to end your
I got that extra cut.
Safer.
If I messed something up or I didn't get that straight, how did I get that wobble in there? You know, all of those things that can happen, and do. I can starch and I can feel confident that I have enough fabric.
Yeah. All right, so I know there's a lot to whole quilt math. I hope we answered some questions. I know Regina was enjoying because she said she never makes a quilt the actual size that it's supposed to be.
Right.
Way to go.
Let me tell you, patterns for lots of my friends, including myself, a pattern is a suggestion.
It's just a recommendation. It's just a road
and so
map
then
to figure out.
Then I get myself in trouble because now I'm like, I really want to make that, but I don't like the way they did that, so I'm going to do it all my own way.
These piecing together funny. I get it. Anyway, all right. With all that said, I think that's about all I can talk about because I'm out of time. So, it's been fun. It is going to be a beautiful day.
Yes.
Get out the house.
Get you some sunshine. Get some sunshine on your face.
If you haven't seen the all black HD9 from Janome just yet, you need to come see that bad boy because it's a pretty one. We also now have a combo machine on the floor. It's a Skyline S9. It's beautiful. I played with it. It's fantastic. If you need a new machine, come talk to me.
I always felt like a sewing machine and an embroidery machine. Get 2 of them. Get 2 different
one
machines.
or different, like
that sometimes
the
the
other.
combo machines, they're not going to do much for the embroidery side. Oh my gosh, they do great embroidery.
By the way.
You know, if you can only get one machine, then that's what you do.
Yeah, that's what
your
you do.
space may not accommodate 2 machines.
You may not have room for all of it. So
right. I don't have room for 2.
All right. Well,
he's been trying to say goodbye, and I keep talking.
She has so much she wants to say, guys. Come in and talk to her, please. Come talk to her. Come talk to her for the love of everything. Come on in. All right, guys. It's been fun. We're going to get out of here. We'll see you this week at some point. It's been fun.
Bye.